Right on, man. Well, this podcast is about your journey in music and how you got to where you are now. And with Iglu and Hartly, yeah, and we'll kind of go from there. So
Awesome.
I did read the band's kind of formed. You guys all met in Colorado, right? Are you originally from there?
Yeah. So we all met at school there. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we gave college a shot for a couple years, and didn't didn't go the whole way, but it was good. It was a great meeting ground for creative people and for just uh, you know meeting people in general. I mean, we were fortunate enough to be able to go to college, um, and and then not graduate, convince our families that we were going to go to LA, and try and make it. But we were so obsessed at that point. It was just like, fine, go do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Boulder, Colorado was the town that we lived in. It was a big music town.
Uh-huh.
We started playing the local venues there. There's a historic theater called the Fox Theater where a lot of acts come through.
Mm-hmm.
And our goal was always to get there. And then once we got there, we sold that out. And then we were like, well, this is cool. Let's big boost of confidence. And we were always like, just no one knew what we were. We rapped, we sang, we didn't really have a hip hop vibe, but we were kind of there. And there was a big hip hop influence in Colorado. Lots of underground hip hop, lots of really creative hip hop going on still. But we kind of just took a bit of that, and we're like, okay, let's make it like sound like a Hall & Oates song though. Like let's just be crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and just started experimenting heavily with different sounds and different 80s kind of elements, because there was like this 80s night in Boulder that we all went to every Thursday at this place called the Foundry. And we just got obsessed with 80s music.
That's awesome.
It was kind of funny because that was way before like the 80s revival really was kicking off in pop music,
Uh-huh.
And let me just turn my phone off. It keeps going off.
Oh, all good.
Hold up. All right, here we go. So we were really exposed to like all the 80s hits, and we were like, okay, this is awesome. Let's like use 80s guitars and then just smash it all together with what we have going on. And so Colorado is really the synthesis of our band and our sound. And we just took it to LA and moved to Echo Park, where I still am, and Sam's down the road. And we're still
doing it, huh?
we're back doing it.
Yeah, because I did see that you went on like a hiatus. But are you from Colorado originally, or are you guys all from there, or did you just go to school there?
No. Nobody's from Colorado.
Oh, where'd you grow up?
Chicago. So Chicago. Our drummer Luis also grew up in the same town as me in Chicago.
Did you guys know each other prior to the band?
Yeah, we did. We went to high school together. We skateboarded together. We jumped off houses into bushes trying to be like jackass together.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys are friends, and then you decided to go to school together, or just go to the same college or something?
Exactly. So he actually came later. He didn't follow us to Colorado. He came when we moved to LA, and we had some steam going in LA, and I was able to convince him to move from Chicago to California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, come live it. I know you don't know any of these guys. Break up with your girlfriend. Come to California.
Stop doing everything in your life. Move to LA.
Exactly. And I guess he was just in kind of sure, why not?
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, how did you get into music originally? Were you family?
Yep, family. So me and my sister were putting piano lessons really early on, and that kind of sparked the musical expression kind of, and I'm so glad we did, because at the time it sucked. It was like recitals, and it was like, you know, we had to do, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, that we were put in front of people and they tested us, you know, like how good we were at piano. And I was a music ear person. So like I could kind of flub everything, like kind of pass, like play really crappily, but like pass, you know,
Right.
because I just kind of like memorized it in my head, how it should sound. And I was able to skate by. And that kind of started everything musically. So if you want your kid to be a musician, or if you don't want your kid to be a musician,
Don't put him in piano.
yeah. Yeah.
I know that's one of my things too, is like, I don't play. I mean, I can poorly play guitar, but my sister and my dad play piano, and we always had one in the house. Like it was there, and I
Right.
just didn't want to do the work to learn to play it.
Yeah, it is work. And that's the thing. You need someone to like, you have to do this or else. You know?
Right.
No going outside until you play. That was our rule. So yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be forced at first, but
Sure.
but thankful for it, obviously.
Right. Yeah, you're still playing it today, right?
Yeah.
You play keys in the band, don't you?
Yeah, so I sing and I play keys, and yeah, it's the kind of the basis of my writing process.
Mhm.
So there's always a keyboard, and there's a it's a simultaneous kind of recording, writing, making a foundation. It's a very all at once kind of songwriting that we do.
Okay.
Not so much like writer's room, Nashville, write a song. It's more like, oh, you could get inspired off that just beat with the synth on it and write to that, or
Yeah.
or write from a lyric, or it's just like from that hip hop background, you're always used to like having music being made while you're writing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it was interesting as like our music career progressed. I was thrown into different writing scenarios, and I was like, "Oh, you guys just sit around, write a song on guitar? That's pretty cool. Try it like that."
Yeah.
You know?
Because that just wasn't something that you ever did.
No, and started to more write more like that on piano as the years went by, but that was during the hiatus.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you got, yeah. So you moved to Colorado, and so you guys formed the band there. You said you started getting kind of some steam there. You sold out the Fox Theater.
Yep.
And then was that the point where you're like, okay, this is really a thing. We need to get to LA.
Yeah, it was definitely it helped us. It motivated us. We always kind of had LA in our minds because we had family in Southern California. My sister was in San Diego, kind of far from LA.
That's where I'm
Yeah.
at. That's cool.
Oh, cool. Where at?
Yeah. We're in North County. I live in Rancho Bernardo, but I used
Okay.
to live down in like South Park area.
Nice. She lived in PB.
Oh, okay. I know exactly. Yeah.
So we'd spend spring break in Southern California. We'd visit LA because my band member Sam, his brother lived in LA, downtown as a fashion showroom guy.
Okay.
So we would visit, and then we would be like, yeah, this is where we need to end up, you know? So it was a little more planned than just like, fuck it, let's move to LA. It was like, well, we have Eric there. He knows like some club promoters. So let's just go ham on those and see if anything happens. So it was still pretty much fuck it, but it was like we knew one person.
Right. You had a connection there.
Right, exactly. One connection. And yeah, we just caravanned out to Los Angeles. We had like 3 cars and just took pictures in front of the Leaving Colorado sign and headed out, and got a house in Echo Park a couple weeks later, and like a little back house, and proceeded to be very loud and obnoxious. And there's just so many stories from that house, you know?
Yeah. Your neighbors loved you, I'm sure.
They loved it. It was a love-hate because we were so nice and just that we kind of helped out, we helped watch their dog sometimes. And there was one neighbor to our right, this old kind of persnickety guy started battling us. He threw a speaker up, pointed at our house like a PA. He like wired a PA all the way back in his backyard because we were pretty deep, and just blasted like I think it was like Motley Crue or something. He just blast,
You're like, thank you.
Yep. And that's what made us go over and meet him, and then we became friends. And then he couldn't do anything about it once we were friends.
Right. Oh. That's hilarious. Well, when did you said the band started picking up some steam in LA? Like, how did that happen? Just show. Like, how did you guys start getting your name out there?
That's exactly what it was. It was very basic. It was like, let's knock on every door. Let's play every venue we can, no matter if no one's in the room. That's not even a goal. It's just to get good. First and foremost, play every day, practice every day. And we would just walk up and down Sunset Strip and knock on all the big venues doors. And then we go play Hollywood nightclubs that usually don't have music. We were able to kind of get in through Eric, Sam's brother, who knew some promoters, and we would just blast our music at this club audience that was like there for bottle service. I don't know how we did it, but they allowed us in there. It was like the B-list celebrity scene, like,
okay, sure.
Yeah, like reality stars and shit. We're like, yeah, you guys are good. Cool. So yeah, so that was like 2006, 2007. And we gave those years to ourselves as like, we got to make it 2 years, and yeah, hundreds of shows. I think it was like almost 300 shows we played in those years.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's like a show every other day or so. I mean, it was crazy, really crazy. And we developed a cool little following in South Bay, which really helped us. That's Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach. Really kind of a cool like punk rock scene going on there. A lot of great bands like The Descendants.
Yeah,
out of there. Pennywise.
Right, that's like the mecca of all those punk bands.
Oh yeah, man! It's just, and they embraced us. The South Bay started really showing up in force, and that was our first like real region, I guess.
Right.
And that was right before we went to South by Southwest, and then UK people saw us. UK record companies.
And that's how you got the Mercury deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we got Mercury. And,
well, yeah. So talk about that. So you guys were playing a ton of shows. How did you get the South by gig? Were you just like, we're just going to drive out there and set up, or like, how did you get?
Super do it yourself, like everything we did. And we weren't approved. Like we weren't an official band, but we had a couple gigs booked with this kind of like independent. It's called Red Gorilla. If anyone's looking how to get into South by without being approved, look up Red Gorilla. They just they do everything at the same venues. It's just not official. It's not on the South by Southwest pamphlet. You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah.
But so we booked a bunch of shows with them, and then just got shows as the week progressed, and did our tattoo thing and
your protests,
crazy protests and stuff. And
I'm sure that attracted some people like, what's going on with this band?
It did. It really did. And have you ever been to South by?
I have not, unfortunately. I've seen it. I've tons of friends that have went, but I've never been personally.
Yeah, it's different now, but back then it was just mayhem, and it felt like the Wild West. Like the street was full of people that were there to see new bands. And it was a very rock thing. It's now it's changed now more. It's like more hip hop, which is cool too. But so everyone would crowd in front of the venues if they like the sound. So like you draw a crowd from the street
Oh,
into your venue you're playing. So whenever we played, we started drawing natural crowds, like as if it's like you're busking or street performing, you know?
yeah.
Because all the windows are open to the venues. It's just a very open, welcoming kind of thing, and everybody's pretty buzzed too. So that helped.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard. And then like obviously there are the bigger acts there. And
Yeah.
my friends that I've talked to that went say it's not even worth it to go see them because you either have to go to wherever they're gonna play and sit there until they're gonna open up because of the lines, and then like there's tiers on your wristbands, I guess. Like if you have a certain wristband, you can like they'll let you in before
Yep.
everybody, and then if you don't have such a good one, like if there's no more important people, then they'll kind of start letting you in. And it just seems like it's more,
Commercialized for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, exactly. And it'd be better off if you just walked around and tried to find bands like yours at the time.
Exactly. Now it's so commercialized, and it's so uh uh it's like over branded. There's too much. It blew up, you know, it blew up. It
Right,
got
right.
so
Yeah, it totally
successful,
did.
right?
Yeah,
So
it's like Coachella or anything else,
yeah,
at one
exactly.
point.
So it's different now, and I don't even know how they would do it now, of course.
Yeah, now it's impossible.
The apocalypse took that away, but
Right, right.
uh, anyway, so yeah, so South by that first year really put us on the map, kind of with the industry, I guess, and
Mhm.
people started paying attention, and we still had one more year in LA, and then we got signed during the next South by, which was when we were official and all that. So
Okay, so the first South by is that got the attention of Mercury, or like, and then the next time you're
I don't
able to
think it
play it,
got
or
the attention of Mercury specifically. I think it just got the attention of actually the most important person it got the attention of was a guy by the name of Mark Needham, who
Mhm.
jumped on to co-produce and mix the
The record?
album And Then Boom. So
Oh.
so that was what the first South by actually did. It kind of cemented our team. Um, and and we did meet some UK radio people, like this gentleman Jim Galatly, who I did an interview with just last week.
Mhm.
Um, so it caught the attention of like, you know, some people, not record labels yet.
Right. But people that, yeah, you said you
People.
formed your team, you got a guy that mix your record.
Right. So Mark Needham, he did the Killers. He went on to
Wow.
do Imagine Dragons after us. He did um, Walk the Moon. He did.
Wow.
He just has his fingers like on every successful band that's
Yeah.
blown up.
Like
It's
those alt pop bands that are, yeah.
I know it's crazy how he just gets them, but he does. And he's such a like a mellow, easygoing guy. Like it's it's really cool to work with him, and I was so glad to bring him back for this next batch
Oh,
of songs.
so he's working on with you guys again.
Yes, yes,
Oh, dope. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
So with that, okay, so you guys obviously return home from South by, and then did you start working on Then Boom, or did you go another round at South by the next year before you put that record out?
we had the songs going for And Then Boom, a few of them after that South by. I think we were playing Violent and Young and Jump Out of Your Car.
Okay.
So those are the first two songs that we wrote that ended up on And Then Boom. And from there on, pretty much every song we wrote ended up on And Then Boom.
Okay.
So it was just and then we had like 4 or 5 songs that we played that never ended up on it
On the
previously
record.
in LA.
Okay.
And yeah, I know because I have a skateboard that has all of them like in the order I wrote them. I made the skateboard.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and put clear grip tape over it, and it has Jump Out of Your Car, Violent and Young, in Dayglow in the city. So that was the four
Wow.
on written for And Then Boom.
And then In the City just went blew up.
Yeah, that was the one that really got the UK labels going, for sure. Absolutely.
And how did that happen? Like, did they hear you guys play it, or did they find it on the internet, or?
Yeah, they all came out at South by. So it was
the next time.
I don't even think it was particularly about that song. I think they knew that we had single-ish sounding songs. They just showed up for the show, and what really attracted it, people was our show, our live show, just what we do on stage, spontaneous stuff, and these crazy California guys, they don't have shirts on. That was like a big thing, you know. And,
that was a big thing.
I don't know why. I guess it was like a bad few years for shirtless performing. Like no one was doing it. We were the only ones, I guess. I don't know.
That's so funny.
I know, it's so funny, and it just kind of went with our vibe, because it's like we didn't really wear shirts anyway because we were just in California, you know.
Yeah, we're in Southern California.
Having fun.
Today it's like 80.
Yeah, exactly.
Snowing all across the West Coast or East Coast.
Yeah, I know. We need some though. We need some of that.
I know. I've been looking, to try to go to like Julian, like, so, the little Big Bear. None of that has snow on it yet because it's so hot.
Yeah. Big Bear's got a little smidge. I've actually been 3 times already.
Oh, it's there. Are they making snow, or are they? I mean, obviously, yeah.
It hasn't snowed. It's not gonna for a while, but
they have but you're allowed to go and it's open. I mean, I guess that's a sport that you're so covered up anyway.
I know. Last season they shut it all down, all the resorts, but this season they're letting it go.
So. Yeah. Well, last season it was like, what the hell is going on? Like nobody knew, and now it's kind of like it's been a year. Yeah. we get it now.
I mean, that's the perfect reasoning behind this whole this level we're at. It's like, it's been a year, let's just go fucking skiing.
Right, exactly. Like, really? I mean, the next like lift is like 20 yards behind you, and yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty safe.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad you were able to go. That's good to know that they actually are making stuff up there. It's worth the drive.
Get up there.
Yeah. Okay. So you put that after South by with the labels there and is that kind of what? So you hadn't put out And Then Boom yet, right? It's just you just had the songs.
It was just demos that we print up and hand out at that point.
Right. Okay.
And we actually had thumb drives, little USB thumb drives that we printed our logo on, and then we were handing those out. So we leveled up from the
That's smart too, because even if they didn't want the tracks, they'd have a thumb drive.
They could delete it and use it.
Right, yeah.
So it's a good tactic too, and still works because we're still on USB all these years later. So we handed those out to everybody. They had those tracks I mentioned, and it was just kind of, we were more polished. We kind of had a better set. We were tighter. We could play better. We were still drunk all the time, but we could play good like that.
But you were tighter.
The party never stopped with us, man. It never stopped. It was like, okay, this is what we did in college. Why would we stop doing that? Let's just keep going.
Yeah, it worked. We saw at the Fox.
I know. We were like binge drinking college kids for like an extra 4 years. But it was a good time. And so that South by Southwest was bigger shows, bigger venues, like in the tents. You go from the little venues that are just bars essentially, and then once you're playing in tents at South by Southwest, it's like, oh, okay, I'm somebody now.
This
is happening. And then press was there, pictures and all that. So more interviews. That must have been pretty exciting though, to
the next time you go back, you got all kind of attention on you.
Yes, absolutely. It was so cool. It was definitely a kind of a sign of things to come after that.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of UK stuff, at we were wondering, like, why are there so many UK people at our shows here? and they just caught on. The sound, like the UK.
They get the sound. That's the
Yes,
thing. That's
yes,
why they adopted the Killers when they were playing they're the first band on the Coachella poster, you know?
exactly. No, that's a great example, and we followed suit shortly after. Um, After the Killers actually got turned down by every label when they were pitching the Killers, turned down
That's
by
great.
every single label, and in the US. And
Yeah.
then they went over and pitched them to the UK. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about Mark Needham again, the guy who
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Mr. Brightside, I think, is still one of the biggest songs that's ever there in the UK.
ever now. I mean,
Right.
that song is.
Oh yeah, ever. But when
Yeah.
it's like to date, and if you think of the amazing acts that have came out of the UK, like to embrace Mr. Brightside so
Oh,
much, like it's cool.
I know. It's very cool. And the Killers definitely had an influence on us as well. They
Mhm.
were pretty omnipresent at the time. And I definitely loved their bass lines
Mhm.
and how they were able to be kind of funky still without being funky. I love that. I love it when that happens in music, when you're like kind of something without being it. And
Right, right.
you just get the vibe, and it's not forced on you, and it's just like, oh, that's cool,
Uh-huh.
So they had a lot of elements like that, and they had the microkorg, and then after that everyone did, but we had it for a short period before everyone did too. So you know, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a good example to follow, and they killed it. And
Mhm.
I remember years later, well, actually just 1 year later or two, we were at the GQ Music Awards in the UK, and we were invited just to be like there. We weren't winning anything,
But
but we
that's
were just like
cool.
mingling with all these like famous people. And Brandon Flowers was there, and he was hanging out, getting interviewed, and he was holding his award. It was like best dressed guy or whatever. you know, and it was
Best
a
dressed
glass.
guy.
I know it was a glass award, and it was like freaking big, and he was just holding on to it. And after his interview was done, me and Sam went up to him, and then we wanted to talk to him because we loved
Yeah,
the band,
sure.
and we kind of startled him, and he dropped his award and it shattered all over the ground. I mean, it was done. And he was so cool because he didn't care at all. He was just like, all right, what's up, guys? Yeah, oh yeah, Jarvis, Sam, okay, yeah, Brandon, you know, and
Just
talk to
didn't
him.
even acknowledge that or he's just like, meh. He probably
Yeah,
had so many other awards at that point. It's just okay.
yeah. I don't know if the best dress thing is like what
What he was going for.
it's not the main goal, but it's good, I guess.
It's
It's good.
something.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah.
When did you guys come back and start working and then put out and then boom?
So we started working on it after that first South by Southwest in 2007, and we came home from that in the RV and just started working with Mark Needham, who recommended we get a bass player and a drummer. So that's so cool. Like I totally forgot that. We were like a boy band on stage just screaming at people up until that point. We didn't have a drummer. We didn't have a bassist. We were just, and we had another singer in the group who left shortly after. So we were three guys singing on stage and rapping to instrumentals. And like, that became more normal like years later. Like there's groups doing that,
Right.
like indie pop style with their, drum machines and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we we kind of agreed. We were like, okay, yeah, I guess that would amp up the energy more and make it more make sense, I guess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So then we snagged a bassist from one of our other favorite bands in LA. Actually, this Mike Bucher, who became just an amazing part of our band. Best bassist in the world, playing on the new stuff, obviously, but he's a legend, and he added this like just raw anything goes spirit to the live show where he just loses himself in the bass, and he's just like going nuts and letting things overtake him and just adding this really spontaneous vibe. And then I brought Luis out.
Okay.
So that's how that went. This is all coming together. I'm remembering, you know. And so that was the impetus of getting the drummer. And Luis never drummed before professionally, ever. I just knew that he could drum somewhat, because when you're in high school and then you come across a drum set in someone's basement, someone's going to start playing it. And he was one of those guys that would go up and like do a beat, you know?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You can play drums a little bit. That's good. Yeah. And we'd always joke because he was Puerto Rican. We say, you got Latin rhythm, man. You're
right.
Like on beat. Like Luis should drum, you know? So he did, and he was great. He did it, not complicated stuff, but it was great. It was like a Ringo scenario where it was like very solid, you know?
Right.
And he killed it, and he had fun. And the most important part was having fun, you know, and bringing a good energy, and he was a part of the gang essentially. So
right.
That's how it worked.
And he didn't play, but you guys didn't have drums and bass on the record, like as far as like a live piece yet?
No, we were putting drums on with a session drummer. So this guy by the name of Rob DiMaggio played drums on that record, and that he played drums on every song actually on that record.
Okay.
So we went in and vibed with him, and we really liked his style and stuff. So he played the drums. It was like 2 days of drum sessions that we did.
Wow.
That did it. And he had this particular like style where he'd always hit the hi-hat twice, like so if you listen to that record, like there's a lot of you know. So it's I like that a lot. Whatever we like has that like really showcased if you listen to it. But he's awesome. He's really great. And then and then the bass obviously came together when Bucher joined.
And then and then you put the record out, and then did Mercury put it out, or did you have it out and then they like adopted it?
No, we never put it out until it was signed, and it was all the tracks came out with them, and that was with In the City as the lead single. And actually previously, before they put it out, we were with a small independent label called Another Music, Another Kitchen in the UK that released Violent and Young, I think. And Violent and Young. And that was kind of right before we signed the major deal. So but it was the same guy. He was he was an A&R at Mercury, but also had a little imprint. So it's a strategy to be cool. You release it on an indie first and then go major, so no one thinks you sold out. You know? So it's complete, you know, it's cool. It's great. And I think there was more meat than that to it, because it was cool to be on his imprint, because his imprint was cool.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was, and we loved him. And the guy by the name of Jody Cammage, great guy, awesome guy, still doing it. I remember flying out there, meeting up with them, and we did a big showcase for that indie label one of our first UK shows. And
Wow. Had you
it
guys
was
ever been out there before? Or is
no,
that like totally
no,
new
that
experience?
that was the first thing. We were just thrown into it. And we were in I think it was called Huxton was the area, and there was a club that we played, very uh very large club, and a lot of people were already there. And it was just a good taste of the UK, and it was like, oh my God, this is great. This is gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then you fly back home, you put the record out, and then In the City does awesome. Like, tell me about that.
Well, so yeah, we flew back home. We did a few shows in the UK, flew back home, and then started doing the record label like meetings with the presidents, and chose Mercury.
Oh, okay.
And we just took him to all the little clubs we went to,
Yeah. Oh, and then he came to LA, or they came
Yeah,
to LA. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Nice.
And so that was before we signed and In the City came out. But it felt like in like a month we were all choosing our press photos. We did this crazy press shoot. We wanted to do all sorts of crazy scenes. We did like on a boat in the canal over in like Marina del Rey. We did mini bike racing. I don't know where those photos went, but it was awesome. They gave us 50cc mini bikes, and we were racing around on the LA River with
Oh,
them.
wow.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That's dope.
No idea where those photos went. They like couldn't use them. And so we, it's part of the process of getting signed. Then they give you all these proofs, and they're like little microscopic pictures. Which ones do you want? It's like, I
Right.
can't fucking see them, man.
You're like,
Yeah, I guess that looks good. Yeah. And then shortly after, it seemed like In the City was on the radio there, just like it got a BBC Radio 1, which is the big station.
right, yeah.
Caught onto it. They loved it, and they just started playing the heck out of it. And it quickly got to like number 5 on the singles chart. And
Wow.
And we were like one of the big acts there for a little bit. So it was definitely crazy. Billboards, everything,
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then, but back when you guys came back to the States, were you still like grinding there too? I mean, it seems like if you had such a big showcase and following out there, I'd just be like, you'd want to kind of stay there, or like, how did that happen?
Yeah, it's definitely a night and day, where we were the big in Europe, not big in America thing. And we had a lot of momentum to take it to the States, but there was just some label stuff that happened, and it wasn't doing well in like focus groups or some shit. You know what I mean? Like the song, like it
7 people that don't know music listen to it, and they weren't that big of a fan.
Yeah, so it was something got messed up on the boat over to America. And
yeah, man.
But alternative radio did we didn't do absolutely nothing. We were on the alternative stations in the US for a bit.
I've came from alternative radio, did 15 years, and I remember playing your record on the air.
Oh, sweet, dude.
Yeah, I played. Yeah, I was in San Francisco at the time when you guys put the album out, I think.
Is that Live 105?
Live 105. You're on Live 105. I think you might even played a show for us.
Oh yeah. I remember
BFD or something, or one of the.
I went up there myself to like pitch Dayglow as a single.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Who'd you meet with, Aaron?
Man, I don't remember. I do not remember. That was a blur.
That's funny. Yeah, but we played In the City. I remember playing that song.
Oh yeah, you guys played that. The West Coast played it, and it's funny, the East Coast played it. It just didn't go.
Middle America didn't
yeah,
adopt it.
I know. Yeah, and we tried. We did this like boots to the ground radio tour of the Midwest, and yeah. No, to your point, like we should have been in the UK a lot more and done that probably another year and then come back. But everything's hindsight. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you don't know, right?
Yeah,
And
you don't know.
especially if stations in the States are playing, if you're getting airplay in San Francisco and probably on K Rock and everywhere else, it's like,
K Rock was instrumental. We were getting play on K Rock before anything. Like right when we moved to LA, we were on locals only pretty much because we were
wow,
sending Cat
everything.
Corbett our
Yeah, yeah.
demo. And she started coming to our live shows. She saw us at the Roxy, um, and she's just a legend. I mean, if
Oh yeah.
anyone doesn't know Cat Corbett, she's like she still loves music so much, and
She's so rad. Now she's on Lithium quite a
yeah,
bit on
serious.
XM.
Still doing locals only too. She played us yesterday, our new song.
Did
So
she really?
thank
That's
you,
so
Kat.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, she's such a she knows what's up. Like, I mean, really,
She does. She
she's
does.
definitely a tastemaker in this world. So,
Yep.
that's awesome. And well, then you guys, so you came back, you put the record out. Did you do some touring and everything else, or?
Yeah,
'Cause I
we
know you
did.
kind of went on a hiatus soon after that, right? Was it
We
kind of
it
soon?
was pretty soon. It was like 2010 is when we parted ways. But so that left some time to be in America, and we were doing some radio shows. So we were like plugging away. You know, we were on Republic, which is like a big label in the US.
Oh yeah,
So
huge.
we were giving it a shot.
Taylor Swift's
I
on
mean, they were
Republic
giving us
Records now.
what's that?
I said Taylor Swift's on Republic Records now. So
They have every monster act. I mean,
yeah,
they're like they have it all. They really have the biggest. But we were doing radio tours kind of to support our Republic thing, you know.
right.
And going San Diego 91X loved
Yeah,
us.
I was on that station I got furloughed from that station right like a few months into COVID. Actually, in
Did
like
you?
July. Yeah,
Oh, crazy.
yeah,
Dude,
I was on that station for like 6 years.
send them our new single, dude.
I will. They're not playing it.
Well, I don't know who to contact. This whole era right now, dude, is DIY. I am emailing everybody.
Okay, well after this conversation, I'll give you like the people that will play it.
Awesome. Appreciate
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so like you were touring it, but then the hiatus kind of soon. Like, when did that kind of happen?
So that slowly happened, it felt like. I mean, first of all, we weren't making any music together anymore, and it was just like kind of like we were so beat from touring in the UK for so long. I mean, we were always, they had us playing a show constantly, and we'd already been doing that anyhow. So it was like I was fucking beat down.
Right.
You know? And on top of all the shows and everything, I had to wake up at like 2 a.m. and do interviews and stuff. And it's definitely awesome, but like you don't sleep. And on top of that, partying and drinking all the time, it was just unsustainable, you know?
Right.
And we weren't attending to our personal relationships, you know? And communication broke down, and we were young guys, and we were like, let's try some other shit, you know? And that was like 2010. So we did do an American South tour where we played all across the South, and just to try and like sow some seeds in America. And that was really fun. That was our kind of last tour, really.
Okay.
But our last tour was actually in the UK. We went back and kind of retraced our footsteps around the UK that we had so many times in the year before. It was kind of like Groundhog Day, and that was slightly, although still cool, was slightly depressing because it was like half the amount of people, and we were at the same places. It wasn't getting bigger, you know?
Right.
So it was just there was not a lot of gratitude, you know what I mean? Like if we had more gratitude, it would have been better. You know? It was always we love the UK and the people so much, but of course, growing up in America, we always wanted to be big in America, right?
Right, of course.
Now I'm like, fuck, dude, Europe, let's go. but it's a good place to be right now because there's a lot more. We're happy that people are just back wanting to chat with us like this. This is pretty incredible, you know.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And with that, I mean, we're here 10 years later, and
10 years later, man.
the band gets back together. Talk about that. What was the decision behind that?
Well, it started with a phone call. My buddy Clay called, who'd been on the management team like way early days, Iglu and Hartly, right when we moved to LA. And he called and he was like, Jarvis, but what are the odds that Iglu and Hartly will get back together for one show? What are the odds? And I was like, dude, this is a crazy question.
Right.
Crazy question. What is behind this question? Unbeknownst to me, he was sitting in like a conference room with a bunch of festival developer guys, you know.
Wow.
and this was in the South Bay, and he had pitched us because we were a South Bay band, and kind of put us in the same category as all those legendary punk bands.
Right.
It's like this is another band that had some success that came out of this region. So you guys should have them. So he called me, and I was on speakerphone to all these people, and I was just like, yeah, I don't fucking think that's gonna happen. I think the guys are all doing their own thing, man. I mean, we were friends again. I mean, we never were enemies,
right?
But we were talking and like hanging out, playing, you know, golf sometimes, and like doing weird stuff, like not serious golf, like fun par 3, like let's
say. But you weren't sitting in a room together writing music.
No. It was more like checking in kind of stuff. So, so I said, there is like a slim chance because we are talking and we see each other a couple times a year. So I went back and asked all the guys, and kind of made a group text of everybody for the first time in a long time, you know, like, hey guys, you want to play a show?
Right.
And then the response was like, yeah, like, I don't know, you know, like, nah. It wasn't like, let's go. But Bucher chimed in, the bassist. He's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. You know, let's go. Let's do it again. And that kind of put like a good vibe to the whole thing. And he was always like the vibe leader of the band. Like he'd pump everyone up, you know? And so I go back to Clay and I say, you know, it's like not 100%, you know, like the guys, you know, like Simon actually had this executive job at Republic, you know, he was our guitarist, and he was, so he was like really busy and like had a really important job, and he's not going to go be Iglu and Hartly again, you know, and then they had their own project, Young Blood Hawk, years before, which had success, but they weren't really doing it at that point.
Oh yeah, I remember they had a big single that we played. Probably in San Francisco, and I know, definitely when I was in San Francisco, we played it.
Oh yeah,
We Are Coming, I think it was called, or
We Come Running.
We Come Running. There it is.
Love that tune.
Yeah,
they did that right out of the gates. They still had energy. I was beat the fuck down, but they they went out with that. It seemed like right away, and yeah, they did that for a couple of years. They just released some new music too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So everyone's been in music during this 10-year hiatus, you know. We've been Billy. I did a lot of songwriting sessions and flirted with going solo, then realized like I wasn't a solo person, you know. And so what were we talking about?
The Hermosa Beach coffee. Hermosa Beach Festival, like somebody called you and then you shut it down.
Yeah, so we kind of shut it down, and then I just told Clay straight up, I was like, dude, like, we got to get paid like it was old Iglu and Hartly, or otherwise this isn't gonna fucking happen, man. These guys, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like,
yeah, we're gonna try to get some people together. 10 years later,
exactly. They're gonna have to, like, you know, their families are gonna have to like start rehearsing again, man. Like there's gonna have to be like some cheddar. So So they made an offer that was actually like insane, like to us, like to be back together. I mean, it wasn't like a bunch of money, but it was like enough to be like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. Let's do it.
Right.
We needed that, like, can't believe that aspect to like all get on board. And which was kind of a theme of our band, like always like making these milestones, like, can't believe they fucking let us do this. Can't believe they let us do that. Like, how the hell did they allow us to be in this fucking award show? I don't fucking know. You know? Like it was kind of that vibe. So the show itself was just magical. It was just the most like honest, real delivery of music on stage that we'd ever done. Really, it was on the beach in Hermosa Beach. The sun was setting during our set. There was a huge crowd there, so it was like a time machine. You know, it was just like, wow. And so many people drove out from all sorts of places. A couple flew in from the UK, you know, to see our entire team that we kind of amassed during those early years flew up and saw us no matter where they were. So it was like a huge reunion backstage of all the people that were a part of our journey. And just hugs, tears, just a lot of hugs, a lot of crying, a lot of just smiles, and it was so cool because it was a chance for everybody to kind of put a nice little bow on it, you know. And that's what it was kind of supposed to be like. It was supposed to be like, okay, this is like, now we could like all live our lives like this thing like was a great part of our lives, instead of this open-ended hiatus, like what if,
right?
You
It
know?
was like, yeah, here it is. Now we did it. Okay, we're done with it. We're gonna put it away for now.
Exactly. So that was like what it was supposed to be, and it would be great if that was that, you know. It'd be like amazing, you know. But like, we got off that stage and we were like, dude, we got to release new music, man. Like, this is too cool. This is insane. And just seeing the hundreds of people care about it, you know, coming up to us. And there was like 1,000 people there, a couple thousand, but it was just like old times. It was like a crowd that was ready to see our band, and sing along to In the City too, which was great. It was just like, you know, it was the whole.
That's awesome. And then that obviously you get off the stage, everyone's stoked, and hey, let's start writing music, and then you just put out a new song.
Yeah, it was you know, well, a little over a year later due to COVID and all that. But yeah, there was we were kind of selecting songs during rehearsals. What if this song was on? What if this song was on? You know, just like making a joke as if we were to release new music. You know what I mean? We weren't being serious. We were just, remember this song? Like, it just naturally happens when you're together, you know? So after the show, when we were like, yes, we are really doing some new music, we kind of went back into the vault, got out some hard drives, and like saw what we were working on back right before.
Wow. So you took a look at some stuff from 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
We definitely did. And a few of those are actually going to make it on a larger body of work that's coming soon.
Sweet.
But yeah, so we got a group of songs together, and then that kind of was the impetus to start really, okay, well, those are cool, but like, what is the real song that's gonna like be like, we're back, you know? What's the Iglu Hartly's coming, like is here to stay, back, what's up? And then that there was always a song. Back in 2016, I did this session with a buddy, and we were just having fun and made like a Hall & Oatesy style, like very humorous, self-deprecating song. Started it with the chorus, "I'm cooler than I used to be," you know? And I sitting there in that session back then, I was like, this could be a fucking Iglu and Hartly smash. If I always was thinking about that, like what if Iglu and Hartly came back? Like this would be the song, you know, like, you know, and it was, I was always like mentally collecting like this song selection of what would make us, you know, what could translate to Iglu and Hartly.
To Iglu Hartly, yeah.
Just because, I don't know, just because that's how my mind does it. But so that song always stuck with me. So so I kind of brought that song back out, and it was pretty raw, unfinished, and really worked on it for a while, and just really got back into like the Iglu and Hartly vocal, which was this crazy vocal I haven't done in frickin' 10 years, you
10
know?
years.
And it's like this, like, you know, it's like a really high, like my voice has gotten lower. So I had to like really go, like get back into it, you know?
Right.
And I think I did.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
Thanks, man.
So this is going to be a piece of a larger body of work.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
you guys are back, like, and you're putting a record out.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
putting it out. So it's either going to be an EP or a record. I think probably an EP.
Okay.
But after this is going to be a single, another single.
Another single.
In January, late January,
and
then we'll put out a larger body after that in late February, early March. But the songs are there, the momentum's there. We wanted to release this song 2020 to kind of like, hey, 2020, here you go.
Right.
Iglu and Hartly song. And it was kind of rushed out because just wanted to put a stamp on 2020 and just say, you know, like carry some momentum so it actually happens. You got to just do something. It's like sometimes you just have to go for it. You know what I mean? You just have to just literally go for it. And it was right before my wife gave birth. So I have a little baby now.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, her name's Kennedy. And so that was another reason, like, oh shit, I got to get this out before this happens. And otherwise it's you know.
Right.
Yeah. Is that a little baby gate behind you?
It is. I have 2 kids. The younger one is 4, and then the 12-year-old's back there sleeping. So but yeah, it's a baby gate, so he didn't come into the loft, but now it's like he's older, so he just opens it, comes in anyway.
Yeah. That's funny. We got him too.
So yeah, now that you it's time, right? I mean, well, you were going to be tied up obviously with the kid. I guess the COVID kind of helped that, so to speak. You wouldn't be worried about being on the road.
Yeah, exactly. So COVID in a way helped this music come out too, you know, just because there's no pressure to all of a sudden go on the road or play a bunch of shows right away out of the gates and physically go places, which is good. It's going to give our band some time to kind of adapt to this new musical era and hopefully get some, you know, show offers like to go play. So that would be nice, you know, later next year, obviously, or whenever that happens, you know, hopefully sooner than later.
Sure.
But it'd be great to get down to San Diego, play a show with, you know, 91X or something.
Yeah, let's do it, man. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jarvis, thank you so much for talking with me today, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, brother. Really appreciate you taking the time and digging in the vault with me.
Yeah, dude, I love
now
it.
I have a better chronological understanding of Iglu and Hartly, you know.
I know, I love it.
Now we went through it. So yeah, what a journey, man. What a journey. It's so fun to rehash it with you, and
I appreciate it.
And thank you for shining a light on our new single, man. Cool.
Dude, of course. I have one more question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh yeah. I've been actually thinking about this because as this process has been unraveling,
Uh-huh.
Just I think first of all, make music that you will be proud of in 10 years, you know, because we didn't make any not exceptions is the right word, but we didn't heed to anyone else's opinion about us. We just did what we wanted. And now 10 years later, we're still so proud of all that work we did. And I'm not sure every band that we were around is now proud of what they did, you know? So that's why we're able to come back, is because we didn't listen to anybody, even no matter how important they were. You know, we did exactly what we wanted creatively, and we're confident in it. And if you're confident in your work, then you will always be proud of it. And if the opportunity comes to get back into it years later, you'll jump right in. Bringing it backward.